This week's show brought to you by Roosters, a fun casual joint. Frank Shoup, Georgetown's big name in cars.
The Bluegrass Method, cutting-edge basketball training with Scott County's own Michael Richardson.
Welcome, everybody, to the Scott County Cardinals News Graphic Boys Basketball Coaches Show, Week 6, the post-Beach Ball Classic edition. And what a Beach Ball Classic it was. Hope you got to see some of the live action online. 3 of the 4 games were live streamed. I know in some places you could even get those games over the air, depending on what market you lived in. They were being broadcast all over the country. I had some friends up in Maine that said they saw Scott County. And just a neat deal to go down there and play against some of the best teams in the country and to come out on top against some of the best teams in the country. Didn't start off well. Scott County played a top 25 nationally ranked team, Archbishop Moeller from Cincinnati, and took a very tough loss. Low scoring output. It was just pretty much a beating, but a lot of extenuating circumstances. Hadn't had a game in a week. Kind of rushed onto the floor after a pregame meal, as Coach Hicks will talk about. Just a bad night overall. You got that out of their system, came back on Wednesday and beat the host team from Myrtle Beach, and that got them rolling. Had a day off, got to build some team bonding going on there on Thursday. And then Friday, a physical game against Lynette, Alabama, a team that had just come off a football season, and it showed. 11 of their 14 players in basketball were also state championship football players. Physical battle, to say the least. But Scott County came out of shooting the lights out in the first half, hit, I believe, 9 out of 12 three-pointers in that half to open a big lead, held on for a convincing 71-47 win, and that took them into the consolation championship game, which in that tournament is an accomplishment. If you can run the table after losing your opening game against the likes of some of the teams they play from all over the country, you have accomplished something. Went up against Bishop Gorman of Nevada. Now, if you Google the name Bishop Gorman, you'll see alumni that play in the NBA, play in the NFL, play in Major League Baseball. Snoop Dogg's son played football at Bishop Gorman. There are a lot of famous alumni that are affiliated with Bishop Gorman. Scott County went out and beat Bishop Gorman, the 35th ranked team in the nation according to Max Preps. They did that in convincing fashion, 71-62. And to go 3-1 in that tournament for, I believe, only the second time. It's hard to go 3-1 in that tournament because you basically have to win the consolation championship after losing in round 1. And to win 3 games in 4 days, to go 11-1 on the year, to come back to Kentucky with certainly a feather in the cap, big wins under the belt, all the cliches you want to put in there. But more importantly than that, Cooper Robb started playing great. Bryce Long, who's been sick almost the whole month of December, you had to feel bad for him, had just a huge game against Bishop Gorman, as did Cooper Robb, as did Glenn Covington, as did Michael Marino, who made the all-tournament team despite playing guys that were 6'9", 6'10", every game out of the draw. It was demanding, to say the least, and this team learned a lot about itself, and I think they figured out they get back into Kentucky basketball playing that well. There aren't many teams that are going to be able to hang with them. So just a good experience down there. A few days off to kind of get their bodies and minds back into focus, but no rest break for this group. Friday they're going to go to Henry Clay for a 42nd district game. Never an easy place to play. They haven't had to play there in a couple of years. We'll see how they handle that on Friday night. And then Saturday, you go to Central Hardin to face Evansville Bosse. It's the Kentucky-Indiana Challenge. It's an 8 o'clock start. As we saw in the Beach Ball Classic, always a lot of pride when you're playing a team from another state, when you're wearing a Kentucky jersey across your chest, and it's going to be no different. That's going to be a battle. Evansville Bosse, I believe I saw a 10-2 record going into the new year. Some Division I players on their roster, so it's going to be a tough challenge for Scott County. And they're going into next week. They will play one of the top teams in the 11th region on, I believe it's Tuesday night, in Madison Central. That'll be at home. That'll be the return home finally for Scott County boys. So some tough games coming up, but they appear well prepared after that week down in South Carolina. Coach Hicks, he's been to the Beach Ball Classic, I believe, 8-9 times. No new experience for him, but every team he takes down there is a little bit different team. Even though most of the team returned from last year, it was a group that he wanted to take down there and give them that experience. They enjoyed it. They made the most of it. Let's hear what Coach Hicks had to say about the week in Myrtle Beach and the week ahead.
Scott County recovered from a disappointing loss with 3 outstanding wins at the Beach Ball Classic.
I don't know whether it's better, Cal, to start off bad and finish good, or start off good and finish bad. Maybe start off bad and finish good, because you end on a high note and everything. And it was good to come out of there with win the last game there, and especially beating a highly regarded program like Bishop Gorman. That was really good. I think it's a good. Guys were excited, and I know they knew what they'd accomplished. They were very proud of what they'd done, and that was ended up being a really good experience for us. It's always good to go down there. It's cold, a little colder down there than normal, but it's a heck of a lot warmer than it was here.
The Cardinals settled an 8-year-old score against Bishop Gorman, a 2-time beach ball champion.
As I said, once you cross the Mississippi heading west, the number one program pops out in your mind is Bishop Gorman. They win about everything. They just come off a big tournament win, I think, out there, and they just they're a very good program. But I thought that our team really, wasn't like it was a fluke. We beat them, we get ahead, and they come back. We get ahead, and they come back. So it was a good, solid win for us. Now, though, we get into real basketball, and that's what everything else has been to get us ready for now.
The continued improvement of Scott County's football players has brought the basketball team closer to midseason form.
Cooper and Glenn are really getting into really going, and if there's any surprise on our team this year, it would be Landon. Landon has really pleasantly surprised us. He just gets better and better, and he's going to really fill a big hole that was left when Cooper Watts graduated. So maybe Landon can fill right in there and become the defensive player and the tough kid that Cooper was. And then, gosh, everybody else being better should make us a really better basketball team.
Scott County struggled offensively in its first loss of the season to Moeller.
Well, Cal is a strange situation. Moeller having lost to Cubcat, they were waiting. They were chomping at the bit to get a hold of a Kentucky team. They were prepared and ready, and it was a strange situation. We went out for a pregame meal and supposed to be picked up at 4:30, and they get picked up at 6. Had a 7 o'clock game. So we got back to the hotel and got our stuff, got over there. We had to rush just to get on the floor, and that was a big distraction to start off with. And then from there, I thought we took some bad shots early on. We took bad shots. They're two studs. They're two really good players. Davenport and Hayes just really went to work on us.
Outside shooting gave Scott County an edge over more athletic rivals in the national tournament.
They were so athletic. They had what, 4 or 5 guys, 6'7", 6'8", and they wasn't 6'8", big fat guys laying around, little skinny guys. They were 6'8" athletes, and they were really. I think with that game, Cal just got a hand from the Lynette perspective, because we shot the ball so well. I think he hit 12, maybe 12, 16 of our first threes, and shoot, we do that, we'd play with the Celtics. It's and we jumped on them, and I think it sort of surprised them, and they never recovered from that. And then we just kept pouring it on, and then again, it got to be a really physical battle down the stretch, because that team was defending. They back-to-back state champions, number 1 in the state down there right now. So they're not used to losing, and they didn't go down easy. They didn't go down almost without a fight. It was rough. It was really rough.
The Cards face back-to-back battles this weekend.
We got Henry Clay coming up on Friday night in a big district game on the road. You can throw the records out the window and all that, because it becomes rivalry games, emotional games, and Henry Clay knows what they're playing for. They're already, I think, 1-0, maybe 1-1. I think in Bound Station might have beat them, but they beat Douglas, and we're 1-0 in the district right now. So these are big district games, and so it's very important. It's always a battle when we go to Henry Clay. Then we turn on Saturday in the Kentucky-Indiana Challenge. We play Evansville-Bosse, who, gosh, just looking at some of them over the weekend, looking at stuff about them, and I knew they had 2 really good guards coming back. I didn't know they'd picked up Ware from Henderson County, their best player. So the other night I was reading the thing where all 3 of them had over 25 points. So they're like 9 or 10-1 right now too. So they'd be a really good basketball team there on Saturday. It was supposed to be in the Civic Center in Frankfort when we got in it, and then I think the governor voted to tear it down. So now I think we're going to play it up at Central Hardin, I think.
And then you come back right after that and play Madison Central.
Oh, we got Madison Central, who is one of the best teams in our region and very athletic. Allen's got a state championship under his belt. They're a very good basketball team. And then after that, we've got to win to, I think, Sayre and then Bryan Station that week. So it's going to be, and this is what you work for to get ready for now. And we're, all the other stuff out of state, Cal is fine and dandy, but, I love Kentucky high school basketball. I love how hard kids play and what they bring to the table. And I'm just, I'm really looking forward. I get excited about this time coming up.
All right, Coach Hicks, the veteran of 952 wins now after the victories over Lynette and Bishop Gorman to wrap up the week. I was talking with D.T. Wells today. That puts him, I think, number 4 in the entire country active coach, and of course makes him number 1 all-time active or fast in Kentucky. So just some crazy numbers getting put up there by the coach. Getting to that point in the season where we're starting to see some repeat characters on the show, but none better to talk to a second time than Michael Marino and Cooper Robb. Talked to them way back in episode 1 about their outlook for the season, and now we get to talk to them about some serious accomplishments as we get to halfway. Winning the consolation bracket at the Beach Ball Classic. Michael was all-tournament team. He's averaging 21 points and 10 rebounds a game right now. And Cooper Robb, of course, also a Division I talent. He's signed with UNC Charlotte, got himself on track with 19 points, really stuffed the stat sheet down there in that final against Bishop Gorman. Let's see what the two straws that stir the drink, so to speak, Michael Marino and Cooper Robb have to say about what's gone on so far this season for Scott County.
Cooper Robb had his best game of the season in the Beach Ball Classic consolation final, while Michael Marino made the all-tournament team.
I mean, I've been kind of rough start coming out of football, late run there, but I mean, getting back into the last 2 games, we all started playing well. I started playing better, which opened up more looks for Michael and Bryce and Diablo and everyone around. So me playing better helps everyone else too at the same time.
I think it was great for us as a team. It showed us what we can do, coming from shooting terrible against Moeller and getting beat almost 20 to turning it back around and winning the consolation championship, beating one of the top teams in the country, Bishop Gorman. So I think it just shows us that we're capable of a lot.
Scott County found different ways to beat teams with different styles.
Some nights will be Diablo hot, which showed 1 game, and then some nights you'll have where we scrimmage the Ohio team first game of the year where everyone was hot. So I mean, it just kind of has to develop throughout the game, kind of see who has that hot hand, and if nobody does, then you just kind of got to go inside and get to the free throw line.
I think the beach ball is kind of built on that every team they invite from a different area plays a different style of basketball. So it kind of tells you who's the best at their style of basketball. And I think with us, most teams don't see our pressure and our traps. So whenever we come at them with the traps, they don't really know how to handle it. And we're just playing our style of basketball. So we're kind of more comfortable. We're making them uncomfortable at the same time.
Marino was proud of the personal honor, but felt that it could have gone to someone else.
Yes, it is. Honestly, I didn't think I would have made it. I thought my teammate Cooper would have made it just because he was stuffing the stat sheet all week. And he shot, I think, 75% in the last game. So, I thought, honestly, he was going to make it. But it's a great honor to have made it, and to stand beside such good players.
The Cardinals beat the 35th ranked team in the country in Bishop Gorman and a 2-time Alabama state champion in Lynette.
It means a lot to us, and it meant a lot to Coach Hicks. He was addressing it all week, saying one of the best teams in the tournament. They lost to him in 2009 in the semifinals. He was saying that to us all day, and so we wanted to beat them. He wanted to beat them, so it kind of showed. And like you said, I mean, it put us on the map. But I mean, they're a great team. We played really well. We shot like 68% in the second half. It showed. So I mean, great team win.
I don't know how many threes we hit against Lynette. I think it was 12 maybe. 12 against Lynette, and then Bishop Gorman just, Bryce and Cooper both caught fire. I mean, I think I went 0 for 4, so I mean, I didn't really show my shooting stroke, but they, they shot it great, and I guess they just didn't learn after, the first couple, and we just got comfortable and played the way we know how to play, and shot the heck out of it.
SC will face a team from its 5th different state this weekend when it takes on Evansville Bosse.
I remember I think it was freshman year or sophomore year, we went up to Indiana and played a game, and that was like a really big gym, great environment for us to play in. I didn't play much, I don't think, but it was still a great environment. And then, like you said, Henry Clay, they usually pack a really good student section. They're loud, always yelling, so that'll be a great test for us to see what we can do in the district.
Oh, Henry Clay, it's at Henry Clay, right? Yeah. So Henry Clay is always a pretty good challenge for us. The refs, I mean, not to blame it on the refs, but they normally have it out for us every year because, yeah, I mean, I've gotten in foul trouble down there in the first quarter. So, I mean, that's not normally a thing. So, I mean, we'll see because they lost a couple kids to Douglas, but they've got a pretty good track record right now. So, I mean, we'll see. And then with Evansville, Bosley, like I said earlier in the year, one of their kids played for Indiana Elite, the 17s, and he's a Mr. Basketball candidate for Indiana this year. And he's signed in Miami of Ohio. He's pretty tough. So, I mean, I think we got a lot of guys that throw at him, but, you know, it'll be a great test for us. It'll be a similar look, I think, to Ballard because they love to play fast, too. They just like, from what I've heard, they like to score more points than the other team. They don't really try to sit down and get stops. They like to shoot the ball within like 14, 15 seconds. So, I mean, they're looking to put it up just like we are. So, I think our defensive pressure will surprise them.
Overall, the Beach Ball Classic was a great experience for Scott County.
I think we represented Kentucky pretty well this week, and I'm really proud of the way we all came together, you know, throughout losing our first game of the year. I'm really proud of the effort we put in to win that consolation bracket and to beat 3 out-of-state teams in a row and do it in a pretty I'm losing my words. Pretty good way. There's a good word.
Convincing.
Yeah, pretty convincing fashion. That's better. Yeah. Pretty convincing fashion. Yes. I think that was great, you know, and it puts Kentucky back on the map.